Greetings, everybody. This is That Wedding Videographer Podcast on Old Hallows Eve. I am Jase.
I'm Danny.
Danny, you look like you've not been getting much sleep.
What the fuck is sleep?
You're looking a little bit rough around the edges there.
Mate, this is how I feel on the daily.
To be fair, it's been a while since I've shaved, so...
This is genuinely how I feel.
Yeah, it's genuinely the...
So Harry's been getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning and going into the living room.
Yeah.
And playing with his cars.
Right. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Late night scooping.
Man, in there you walk in and you're like, Harry, what are you doing? He's like, play cars? As if that's just like, normal behaviour.
Mind when you were like 17 or 18 though, you used to like go to the car and go to Tesco car park and stuff. You never do that? We called it scooping.
What?
We called it scooping.
What do you mean though?
Well, you just scoop about town.
Oh, right.
In your car, like...
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
Right.
That's what we did when we were kids,
Where was that? In Aberdeen?
Aye.
Okay, that's why.
Was that... Well, this chat's shy, innit?
You just go into a car park. What were you...
What was it? So, like, as soon as you pass your driving test, you just go to a car park. I cannot be the only one that's done this, right? You go to a car park, you just turn the music up and you just chat, and then essentially the chat was shit. Right, mate, it's, what you driving these days? I'm like, oh, still the same course I was driving last week, mate. Still the same course. I'm 17 years old. I can barely afford a car. Right? So I'm driving this Corsa because that's all I could afford.
I mean, that sounds like a whale of a time.
Oh, it was an absolute disaster.
Well, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. But don't worry, the only thing terrifying about this episode was us reminding you to look at your backlog. Get these fucking things off.
Oh my word. Look how I'm like actually sweating. That was too much.
I enjoyed that a lot less than I thought I would.
It's like so warm in that. How could you put that on for like a full Halloween? Okay. Well, they can go. That one's hilarious though.
That one's pretty good.
That one's actually really good. Well, it's been a busy few weeks.
One hell of an October.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's been full on. It has felt like absolute ages since we've been here, and that's for good reason because, I mean, we're going to talk a little bit about what we did in the first half of October in another episode, but I mean, we've been away for weeks. Mm-hmm. And it's not just with weddings, because I think I've only had 2, maybe 3 weddings in October.
I mean, I've had a few. I just, it's just, it has been quite full on. I think that and, like the kids just being wild, and we're having a couple of issues at the minute with Frankie, just in terms of like behaviour. Mainly going to be just down to the fact that there's another baby on the scene that's quite often happens. So that's been challenging. As I said, Harry getting up at like 1 o'clock in the morning to go into the living room and play with his cars, not really understanding that that's normal. That's
not on at least until you're 16.
Yeah. And then obviously the 2 trips, it's been really, really full on.
Yeah, the trips have been absolutely class. Like you were very fortunate enough that these events kind of fell next to each other. And so it has felt like a one whole month of learning. Like I feel like so different from the beginning of October to the end of October from what I've learned. So
yeah, and also just a massive shout out to my wife Kirsty for looking after the boys for like on her own for a total of 8 days or something like that. Like,
I know,
because it's not easy. So thank you.
I almost feel like she blames me.
Probably. I mean, rightfully so.
I'm everybody's scapegoat. Like, just throw on him. That's him. Like, yeah. And also, I mean, if we're doing that, not that she listens, because she doesn't listen to the podcast at all. But Jean, yeah, thank you for allowing me to go away and do these things. They were fantastic. Transformative. Make for some good content for the podcast as well, which I know you both love, Kirsty and Jean. So.
so much. But yeah, like October has been wild, but like in a really, really good way. So as Jason said, we are going to talk through. We'll talk through Ireland in probably another pod. But for this one, just whilst it's fresh, hot off the press, we are going to talk about CODA.
CODA, for those that have been living under a rock this year or not from the UK, CODA was the first organised in-person event for wedding videographers in the UK that I know of.
Yeah,
at a mass scale.
Yeah, there's been little pocket meetups, as even Rue had talked about in that pod. But I don't think there's been one that's brought that many together, and not in the UK. Yeah,
there was 130 videographers in a cinema in the middle of Birmingham, listening to six speakers.
Yeah,
6 speakers who are top of their game, talking from creating income from additional like digital products, talking about building teams, talking about when things have gone wrong for them and how they fixed it. It was super insightful.
I love that one.
Yeah, it was great. And we're going to dive into that in this episode, just kind of do a debrief of what CODA was all about.
Yeah.
So throughout the year, we've mentioned CODA quite a few times. Whenever we had a guest on, we've always said, are you going to CODA? We had Rue back on the podcast in May, I think it was, when it was kind of all announced and the tickets went on sale.
Yeah, he was our first guest, wasn't he?
Our first unfortunate victim to join the podcast. I actually listened to that podcast again the other day just to kind of see the reminder of what his thoughts were before it, and then having been to it just to kind of see. So I was doing a big drive up to Aberdeen at a wedding, and I was like, I'm going to listen to Rue again, see what his thoughts then were compared to how it actually went. Complete disaster, but no, Rue, it was a tremendous event, and it lived up to all the expectations that I think everyone had. I got to admit, like when you walked into that cinema and you saw that many faces there.
It was class.
It was class because you're like,
so good.
I'm trying to think of another time when I've been surrounded by that many people that do the exact same thing I do.
Yeah.
Apart from when I worked in a corporate office that did that, but you know what I mean? Like it was definitely a unique experience.
Yeah. When you walked into that room and seen like all those people together with one common objective of coming together for like education and inspiration, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so good because we've not had anything like that.
No.
Like I know the photographers out there and the ones that listen, you know, you've had your loads of different kind of like meetups and conventions and stuff like that and have them on the annual. We've not really had anything like that. So it was super cool.
Like first of all, I was like, I didn't know where to turn because there was like you have spoken to a bunch of videographers in the past and you're kind of looking out going, where are these people here?
You're like, I recognize that face.
Yeah, I recognize the face. It was kind of like, I don't know if any of you have got a dog, right? But I go out on a dog walk and I'll know the dog's name rather than the owner's name. And then and then I'm like, oh, so you're them. Yeah.
You're Bailey's mum.
Yeah, I suppose the same with kids, right?
Hi, Mrs. Bailey's mum.
Yeah.
How are you?
And it's kind of the same with that with videography companies, unless it's someone's name.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I know your business name. I know it. I definitely follow it.
It was class.
It was cool.
so good. And also, I think just to put out there as well, thank you to everybody that came up and gave us like really good feedback about the podcast because we were really blown away.
Yeah, we weren't quite expecting to walk in and have people come up and recognize us. Like in the morning, you were still not at the coffee shop for whatever reason. I can't quite remember.
I had a sore head. really sore head. Some bad choices were made.
And we were sitting in the coffee shop and a guy came up to our table and said like, "Oh, I'm one of your only YouTube followers." I'm like,
follow us on YouTube, by the way.
well, on that, today's the day. I finally got fiber.
Oh, you can upload to YouTube.
I can upload to YouTube now, so I'm no longer in the Stone Age. So be prepared to get all 30 episodes uploaded because they're pretty much good to go. I just need to upload them, but it took like 2 days to do it before. But yeah, he came up to us at the where we were, Black Sheep Coffee. Just said, "Oh, I follow you on YouTube," and I'm like, I don't know how to act in this situation, but hi, nice to meet you. Yeah. So it was awesome to meet people who've actually listened to the podcast. I don't think we were quite expecting so many people to come up and just start a conversation like that.
It was super cool just to get like everybody's feedback.
Yeah.
It was just really nice to hear. So like, thank you to every single person that like came up to us and spoke to us, or even in the past has sent us a DM and stuff. It's really encouraging. So yeah, from the two of us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we genuinely we sit in this dark room. We don't actually know if anyone cares to listen to what we have to say, but no, it's incredible.
We're seeing the numbers go up. We are seeing the numbers go up. It's cool.
Yeah, and they're not even bots.
No,
they don't look like bots anyway.
No,
like
these people we're talking to,
they're real people.
Yeah, they'd listen to episodes.
And obviously, we're doing this because we enjoy having the conversations. We know you enjoy having the conversations. So on that note, you can actually join a conversation. You can send us a DM. You can send us a voice note. Whatever you want to do. It doesn't have to be in in-person meetups whenever they happen. But it was great. So that was kind of the entry to the day. Obviously, we all did the registration, all had a little coffee, spoke to each other, and then we were ushered in to a cinema, a very comfy cinema on these old-fashioned chic sofas.
The Everyman cinemas are class for that. Have you been to one before just to watch? Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
The one in Glasgow is not as big as that one, but yeah, it was great just listening to like all the different speakers. I think, ones that certainly stood out for me. I loved Bronte's one. Bronte's one. Bronte done so well.
Bronte was super nervous. From Tim Box memories, like she was super nervous about her. I remember she even came on to our podcast and said that she was worried about what she was going to talk about. But
she absolutely fucking.
If you're listening, you smashed it.
Absolutely nailed it. So, Prem, what was our whole back row like? It pretty much went even. For those of you that weren't there, Bronte was kind of like just talking about like the importance of like, why we do what we do, and it's like she showed this video of this this film that she had created for this bride, and it was about her dad, kind of like seeing her dad in the morning and her dad walking her down the aisle, who unfortunately has dementia. And you seen as soon as Bronte kind of like got into it and then just mentioned obviously about the dad having dementia, our whole back row pretty much just sat forward, like at the same time, and then
like a sad Mexican wave.
But I mean, no, but it was really emotive and it was really powerful, and I'm also like starting to tear up again thinking about it. But I was proper like crying at it.
The power of film was on show there. Like we were. She showed us. She told us the slight backstory, and she didn't even need to, because the clip that she showed us did everything. It was about her dad doing a first look, delivering her down the aisle, and then going home. But that was his involvement in the day. Mm-hmm. And I think the true essence of what Bronte was trying to talk about is that we can criticize our work for the details that only matter to us, like things in the background that we'd rather not see, like a fan or something like that. Like we'll look at shots and criticize them, but the true essence of what's happening in that moment. That's the most important thing. It's about the people in the shot. Like if there are things like fire exits or something like that, it's about what's actually happening. It's the people involved. That's what matters to them. Because when Bronte asked her previous couples what their favorite parts of the film were, it was parts where she could criticize any sort of composition, any lighting.
Yeah, could criticize the most.
But what actually happened in it was amazing. And she nailed that point perfectly. And it just gave everyone in that room a reminder that, it's difficult what we do. We can't make perfect shots every single time because we don't have a full studio setup. It's about capturing what's happening in front of you and telling the best story from it. And I think she sunk that in our heads completely.
Oh, yeah. Totally. So, Bronte, you smashed it.
Absolutely smashed it.
Thought, Taggate Films. Ben's one, I actually really... Initially, we both kind of like said to each other, so Ben pretty much took us through a wedding film that he had shot, and a multitude of things went wrong. Backups of audio, and the backup of the backup was basically screwed, and we kind of both were like to each other, does the audio sound a bit weird here? Mm-hmm. Like it had been, you could tell there, it didn't sound like horrendous or anything, but you could tell that there was just like little audio glitches and it didn't sound like the neatest. Mm-hmm. And we were kind of like, what is this?
Having known Tyngate Films, right, it's excellent work. Like excellent doesn't even cut it. The stuff that Ben puts out there is absolutely phenomenal. And we're watching this clip that he's showing to the cinema and we're like,
not sure that's his best work.
It wasn't his best work.
However, what I thought was really, really, really cool, right? Because Ben could have went in there and showed us his best work. He could have went in there and like showed us, I don't know, like the Olimers wedding, and we'd all be like, oh my God, you know? But he didn't, and he chose to, and I thought this was super, super, super cool of him basically, in my eyes, basically the way I looked at it was, and I don't know if this was the sentiment, Ben, but like, Ben's obviously like in that kind of Lux market and just shows that shit still goes wrong, even for like him.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's very easy to look at people through rose-tinted glasses on the, the world of Instagram and go, oh my God, you've got it all figured out. Like, none of this stuff ever happens to, Ben or whoever. But so many things went wrong on that day. The gimbal broke just before the aisle walk. The, what else? His second shooter dropped the camera.
The ceremony room was pitch black with these uplighters that had LED blinkers going at you.
I mean, that... for a lot of people would just make them want to quit.
Yeah. I think what it was, like, we're so used to seeing what he puts out there to a certain quality, and that we'd never seen a clip like this. It was still a great clip. That was the thing. It's just like, we're used to seeing a certain standard. We're used to seeing Ollie Morris's wedding pretty much, right? And we're watching this going, okay, it's still good, but like, why are you showing this? Everything that could go wrong for him went wrong. And it just shows that no matter how invincible you look online, everyone goes through difficult days, and it's how he rectified that. He showed how he overcame each problem, showed us the raw footage of the gimbal going crazy and how he had to fix that. And I even said to you, like, why isn't that bride high-fived that guy that's coming down the aisle, or the groom high-fived the guy coming down the aisle? Why has he cut that? And it's because the camera completely shakes up when that happens, so it's unusable. But to someone who doesn't know the format of a wedding film, they're not going to see that. They're going to see the polished project that he was able to make from a disastrous day. So kudos to you, man. It was awesome to go. It really just brought us down to earth and go, oh, thank God. Like, because that stuff happens all the time.
I just thought it was so class of him.
Yeah.
Like obviously, Ben's working and stuff like that, but I walked away from that going, like, obviously, because I don't know him. I did chat to him on the day. Super, super cool to chat to you, Ben, if you're listening. When you look at people through like the Instagram world and think you like the Lux market, I don't know, you're kind of like, oh, like, he's like Luxy, right?
Yeah.
He was so down to earth, so sound. And for the fact that he'd done that and chose to show that, he just went like 10 times up in my estimations.
Yeah, and on the note of like seeing raw footage and how things can go wrong as well, we had Lawson Films also show us. They showed us the ceremony.
Honestly, see that pair? Like, they're hilarious.
They are hilarious, aren't they?
They could do their own comedy show. Like, they're so funny. They're like so funny. I actually, like, I said to Pete, and I think I said to Laura at the end, just before she left, but about getting them on, because we need to get them on. I just, honestly, we just laughed pretty much through the whole thing.
Having never spoken to them and seeing the kind of the elegance of their films and stuff, the kind of simplicity of it, I had no idea they were like that. Like, they were great. We were just cracking up in the back. Like, honestly,
I just laughed the whole way through, but took loads from it as well.
Oh, so much. Like, they started the whole day off, and then we were just like off with a bang. So many tips that they said. Like,
loads. I've taken loads away.
The first thing that I've taken away from them is like when after the ceremony and people like are hugging the bride and groom. I've never initially thought that I need to be on the side facing the people, even though we know that people are the importance of a wedding day. So ever since, I've been like definitely trying to go around the other side to get
guests instead of the bride and groom.
Getting the guests. But I do focus a lot on the guests, but those are really cool moments. And in my most recent edit, you'll see an influence of them big time.
There you go.
So if Lawsons, if you are listening, you can go to my most chaotic edit that I've done, but it was still influenced by you. So thank you very much for that. But they also showed a ceremony where I tried to implement this at the wedding, and they kind of use tripods to they change it to get good shots. But I didn't move the tripods because I was like, I cannot get positions for this still. But like, I wanted to.
Remember as well when he's like just talking about all the times he's just moving about during the ceremony. Yeah. He's like, oh, there we go. Fucking, there's that window. I just pointed at that for a while, honestly.
And he showed us the angles that were like out of focus and people walking in front of it, and I'm like, right. Yeah, because I do that all the time. Like, I'm looking at an angle going, why the hell have I done that? Like, that's a useless angle.
I was just another one that was super cool. Again, just like scenes, but their editing and stuff is just like so class.
It was just class. Really, really going behind the curtain.
I'm really looking forward to speaking to them on the pod, actually, just to like pick their brains more. I know they were obviously on the CODA podcast and that before, but I'm looking forward to just having having a bit of a chat.
Yeah,
with
they were
them. They're
great.
so funny.
Even just heading outside after the cinema, just talking to them outside, it was good crack.
We then also had Mia from Little Moments, basically just talking about working with a team.
Yeah, like so Mia, if you're unfamiliar with Little Moments, like Mia started and then built a team so that there's always like a bit of, because the hardest thing about running a team is like not continuity, but is that right? Continuity?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she used a different word though.
Cohesion?
Something else. There was a word that she used to kind of like make sure it was consistency.
There you go. Another C.
Consistency was that. So consistency, because like different videographers going out there, all like she did analyze that each of her team had different styles, but it's how they work together and how you get the best match for that, and it's how the team sort of like took on shifts for themselves. Like there was a great format on how to build out a team. If you were
fair player though,
yeah,
it's not that like. I think she made it sound quite easy, but in reality, it's not that easy.
Yeah, she made it sound really easy.
Yeah,
like I think most people here who've hired a second shooter but haven't worked with them before have always gone through that kind of that experience of maybe like finding difficulties with that. I still don't know where I'd begin with that. But
so hats off to you.
You got a good thing going, so that was a great one too.
We had the Costa sisters.
The Costa sisters, who I've previously gone to a workshop before. And they're just eccentric as like they literally started by saying like, all you are nice, you're just gonna have to listen to us bitches now. it's like all right, cool, we know what we're signing up for. But they came in and they spoke about how to be intentional on your branding. Like how do you find exactly who you want to work with?
I mean, they've definitely got that nailed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I mean,
that's their superpower, isn't
but that's super important, because like if you know you want to work for a certain client, like imagine someone really wanted a romantic video from the Costa sisters, they would just go like, you're going to be so unhappy like with us. So
well, they said that, didn't they? They said that it was in their contact form, wasn't it? They said that they had something like tell us about all your shit or something like that, and then somebody messaged back saying like, what was it they said? I can't believe you just swore. I'm not hiring you for our wedding. And they're like, well, thank fuck for that.
Yeah, I had a few people come up to me afterward and say like, did you like associate, because like my branding isn't too far away. It's in the same ballpark.
It's in the same sport.
And it definitely made me question some of my Instagram tactics, but I still feel like I'm on a path that works for me. But they're way more intentional than I am. I found it quite interesting that they got their, like iconology, that's what they called it. Or
from
they bought it from Etsy.
Etsy.
Yeah, so like if you've got branding, like little icons, like
what's it called? It's called something.
It's not iconology. That's what they called it.
Iconology.
Well, so
sophology.
No.
Sophology.
So they
1, 2, 3, sophology.
They had like font, calligraphy, iconography.
Is it iconography? Google it.
Have we got any sponsors that you can talk about?
Not yet.
Well, this bit would be.
This is where, if you want to be a sponsor on the podcast, we could put you in here, but we don't currently have any sponsors.
Iconology is the method of interpretation and cultural history and the history of visual art used by Andy Warburg. What the hell is that all about?
It's not that.
I bet it is that though.
It's not that.
What does it mean in iconology? The study of icons or artistic simplicity. This doesn't matter. The Costa sisters spoke about icons and its use in.
It's called something. I can't remember what it's called, but it's not iconology.
It's iconology.
No. But yeah, no, that was cool. Like all the kind of like the scorpions and stuff, and obviously, it was cool. They've got their branding sorted.
Because my iconology is a sun, a bolt, a little data thing. So I've got it.
What are
the use of icons called in branding? I think they made it up.
Do you think?
I think they did. Because they definitely said iconology.
Did they?
Yeah. Iconography.
Iconography.
What did I say? Iconography.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, I started with iconology.
Iconology.
I started it, but I did change it to iconography.
Iconography. Right, there you go.
There you go.
There you go. I knew it wasn't right.
Anyway, so yeah, that's something to consider.
Yeah.
If you've got like a brand, like you've got your colors, you've got your logo, you've got your voice, you can potentially go on Etsy to find a pack that suits.
Yeah,
so it can go into your assets.
It's another little stamp that this is like you. You know?
It goes in all of your communications and stuff. Just kind of like nice little brand design. So yeah,
cool. That's cool. Then we had Russell.
Obviously,
we had Russell.
Good old Russell.
Good old Russell.
We're best pals now.
We are.
Yeah. He gave you a shout out.
He did. He did.
He called you out of a room of 130 videographers.
He did.
Specifically.
He did.
You truly are like his number one fan.
I know. I love it. And he appreciates it.
Yeah.
Did you see the video actually where
you asking him a question?
Yeah. And everybody came up to me. So basically,
it's Daddy.
For those of you that weren't there, Russell called out me because he basically called me his best customer because I've bought quite a lot of Russell's things. Because he was talking about the importance of like selling like digital products and stuff
as a passive income,
which he is doing phenomenally. So Russell was talking about like the importance of like creating passive income. And he called me out basically saying that I was his best customer and that. So then I asked a question.
I've got bear fluff on my mic, sorry.
In jest, that when he was going to be like, did he have any plans to sell any more digital products so that I could buy some?
But you started dead creepy. You were like, Russell.
I was like, hi, Russell. How you doing? So then I jokingly asked him if he was going to be putting anything else out for sale when it came to like digital downloads.
Because you've got money.
Because I've got money to burn. And then people were coming up to me asking, oh my God, like, were you being serious? And I'm like, no, of course not. Like,
because I've got something you can buy.
I was obviously jesting. But yeah, let us know if you get anything else, Russell.
Yeah, pronto. I'm sure you'll be on the email updates. Anyway.
But yeah, no, that was super cool. Talking about like creating LUTs and stuff, really actionable stuff. Really enjoyed that. And yeah, that was it. But then not only did we have the chats, obviously with the speakers, but we then had like the after social as well, which was really good.
Yeah, and the kind of moments in between, like obviously we had breaks in between the talks, so we had loads of conversations with people all over the UK, and then obviously the social afterwards. We went to a bar, we had pizza. I was driving that night, even though Danny still bought me a cider. I was like, oh, just get me this.
I drank it, didn't I? I didn't.
You did eventually drink it, but.
I know, but I forgot to ask for alcohol free. So
yeah, because
like I was excited.
Very excited.
I was excited.
We all were excited.
It was my second time out on the sauce in like what?
No.
You can't.
No, you had a week in Ireland, like get by.
Well, I know we were in the sauce the whole week.
No, we weren't. But either way, like. It was an event that was amazing, and then of course Rue absolutely played a blinder by revealing the lineup for
which is an epic lineup for next year.
I mean, honestly, I know one videographer duo like the back of my hand, and as soon as their footage appeared on screen, I was just like, what?
He was already on the website trying to buy a ticket for next year.
Immediately.
Wasn't even on.
If there was no signal in the cinema for me to buy a ticket, but I would have bought it like by blinking. If Blink Pay becomes an option,
that'd be super cool though. To see Ballbrush, that would be class.
Ballbrush Films,
yeah.
My biggest inspiration.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be cool. Grace is coming over next year. I've already been on the blower tour to say looking forward to meeting you. So it's gonna be great. Obviously we both got tickets for next year. It has sold out in a record like 40 minutes, whatever it was. So yeah, well played, Rue, because it was a class day. Everyone got so much value from it, and yeah, it'd be great to do it all again soon.
It would.
Maybe it can. Anyway, that's been That Wedding Videographer Podcast. I've been Jase.
Danny.
Fuck you, Danny.